This past Saturday, I attended the Grand National Roadster show in Pomona, California, and they had a special display this year of Volkswagens, an entire building filled with historic Volkswagen show cars, and so I absolutely had to be there. Being as I've been involved in the VW scene since, I guess the early 80s, mid 80s. And I've seen a lot of these cars over the years, and some of them have been hidden away for 30 years or more. In any case, it was a real historic display of some really fantastic cars, dune buggies, drag cars, some modern customs in there as well, including that crazy rat rod. Lots of hot VWs, feature cars. That particular one there belonged to Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top fame. A couple of chop top bugs from the past. Cover car from VW Trends called Future Shock. That's a really fantastic 80s custom. And not only was it an assemblage of historic vehicles, their historic owners came out as well. And so I came across a lot of old friends as I wandered around through the building full of VWs. Again, wide variety of stuff. It was a fantastic display. There were cars that were shipped in for this event from as far away as Scotland. And there were, anyway, it was just truly fantastic. The one thing that was really cool to see is some of these 80s customs and even 70s customs were still in fantastic condition. There were some cars that were obviously current builds as well. A lot of clubs were there, Der Kleiner Panzers being one of the biggest clubs in the Cal look scene. Of course, they were there, as well as some others as well. Absolutely loved that killer setup. This Too Cool squareback with the dual Volkswagen engines was a mind blower. Type 3s, Karmann Ghias, Beetles, dune buggies, everything from that 43 VW on up to the craziest, wildest dune buggies you've ever seen. This particular car, called the Pink Lady, was built by Bernt Carlson in Sweden back in the 80s, and it came over to California in the late 80s and absolutely rocked the show car world. This particular car has not been seen in quite a while, so it was great to see it there at the event. Truly one of the craziest custom VWs ever. In any case, as I wandered around here, I'll kind of point out some highlights. Some of them are quite obvious. This particular car with the Buick in the back is pretty insane. Loved the scalloped 80s show cars. This manxed out crazy 80s custom dune buggy was cool. Let's see, a Volkswagen Thing. Bad Temper 2, that's an LA look car that was restored some time ago. A little short VW bus was pretty slick. A Headmuller, Fridolin, really bitchin' badass microbus. There's a good double cab right there. These two cars were done by Bitchin' Rides. There's the Giant Bug, which is just an extraordinarily huge, crazy thing. There's the Bitchin' Rides cars. Carmageddon, that's a Type 3 Karmann Ghia drag car. That is the Burglar, the blue car there, from the Berg family. Had the Lightning Bugs from the Schleys, Herbie the Love Bug, cool early split, another Type 3 Ghia that was beautifully done. Love the Porsche steering wheel. This is a modern build, that notchback. Same with the square back. Pepto 2 is a redo of an 80s custom. This particular car, the white one, that was the Cal Look cover car from the 1974 issue of Hot VWs that kind of started it all. Outside the event, there was a large selection of VWs as well, and different aisles of all sorts of different cars. And again, just fantastic. We went building to building to see just about everything we could possibly see. And if you are into custom cars, this is absolute ground zero, one of the most amazing arrays of custom cars you'd ever see. From lowriders to traditional hot rods to, well, just about everything is on display there. Now, this is the 72nd year that they've run this Roadster show, and it's also the place where the top builders compete for the coveted America's Most Beautiful Roadster Award, which is this fantastic, monstrous trophy that has all of the best for the past 72 years on it. Loved the lowriders at the event. That Riviera was a mind blower. The old Westergaard style stuff, gassers. Um, it was mind blowing. The engraving on that lowrider was nuts. I don't know what that was. Colors, 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 phenomenal paint. This was my favorite, this 58 Chevy. Um, just mind blowing build. Dead President's 58, it's called, from the Elite Car Club. Truly spectacular. Um, Seeing these cars and the artistry and the work that goes into them, you've got to have mad respect for that sort of stuff, whether you're into the style or not. It's phenomenal to see and to experience up close. Lots of traditional hot rods, including ones that were real live vintage vehicles that had been brought back out, old builds that had been restored. This Toyota Starlet seemed a little odd there, but it was pretty tricked. That Eldorado's pretty insane. They had a pinstripers display there. You could smell the paint as you wandered into that part of the area. Anyway, here we go with some more wild customs. This particular car was fantastic. An old magazine car that had fallen from grace and was found in a field all rusty and then brought back to life into its former glory. And I love those historic builds. Any of these old hot rods that have been brought back and restored again are always a pleasure to see. Here's another great lowrider done by a buddy of mine, Steve Wilk, paint by Benny Flores. Some cool station wagons. The Hero Had a Merc was there. This car just sold for a couple $1 million at auction and changed hands from the original family. Always interesting engine detailing. Some more lowriders. Great interior details on this particular Impala. And then you get into the America's Most Beautiful Roadster contestants. There's the giant trophy right there. Everyone's competing to be the absolute best of the best. And let's see, which one of these came up as a winner? That I loved that car. That was a recreation of the Edsel Ford Special Roadster or Speedster back in the day. In any case, I guess I don't have the picture of the winner of the AMBR award, but you can look that up and certainly see it. It's a spectacular car. Crazy cars all through the cruise. These are all areas in between the several buildings that are there. There were some historic customs here that were brought out by Dave Schutten from Galpin. Those are some old builds that he plans to restore. This caddy was absolutely badass. Tail dragon, looking huge. My friend Joe brought out this Econoline that he just finished restoring. It's a very rare pop-up camper setup, and he did a great job of bringing that car back to life. Another lineup of old VWs outside. There were some more VW show cars within the show as well, not in the Volkswagen area. So you had to watch for those here and there, including this particular car, Turmoil, by Type 1 Restorations out in Arizona. Absolutely, I would say this is top level build for the Volkswagen scene. The level of detail on this was fantastic. He was in the running for the Slonaker Award. He did not win that award, but he definitely put up a good fight and a good show for the Volkswagen scene. That particular car right there won the Slonaker Award by Hollywood Hot Rods, and it was a pretty impressive build. That was a previous AMBR award winner, the Packard there. Loved this crazy LaSalle coupe tail dragger. Beautifully done. Great vintage vibe to it. This thing was killer. This Oldsmobile had some really neat details and props to the interior. Absolutely loved that kind of rat look thing. Let's see. It was also a celebration of the 32 Ford, the 80th anniversary of the 32 Ford, and there was a section outside that's all there was 32s. I've seen enough 32 Fords in my life, so I didn't wander through there. But I did enjoy the Suede Palace. This is a display of traditional hot rods, stuff that is done absolutely in period, shiny as well as matte finish, and a couple of rat rods thrown in as well. It's a really cool scene. I love the vibe of this particular room, whether it be a ratty looking old Ford like this or a top level build coupe like that particular thing. Love that Ford. Gorgeous. Great old truck. That thing was absolutely beautiful. Let's see. Moving on here from outside of the Suede Palace, there was an area of kind of a continuation of that scene in a really neat part of the Fairground Park there. We'll step out here in a second so you can see that. Let's see. Oh, that thing was really awesome. I don't know the story of that particular car, but super unique. And that was properly crazy. More motor than brains. Anyway, Love Machine was in attendance from Up in Smoke. Here's that outside area that I was talking about where there's kind of a continuation of the Suede Palace parking and some lowriders and stuff as well. Kind of in this area of the park where there was a really wide, real wild colors and buildings. King Taco there. You can see the colors on the walls here. All sorts of fun music playing and a couple of clubs that are tucked back into the corner there, having a good time. And this was towards the tail end of the show for us. It took us a few hours to walk around through it, saw everything there was to see, and then we worked our way out of the park and back to civilization. Well worth the effort to go to this event if you are ever in the area for the Grand National Roadster Show. It is an event that should not be missed. You see the absolute best of the best, tons of creativity, from rat rod to full-on show car. There is amazing stuff from bumper to bumper, end to end of this massive event here in Southern California. 72nd running of the Grand National Roadster Show. I hope you enjoyed my walk around and slideshow and endless rambling. Off we go. Another day of Carchaeology. Thanks for watching.